folks. I'm Micah with BC Shaver and Hobbies, and this is the Hornby 00 gauge Hogwarts Express train set. In 2001, when the first Harry Potter book was adapted to film, the producers needed an authentic British steam locomotive to pull the Hogwarts Express. The engine they chose was 5972 Olton Hall, a Great Western Railway Hall Class 460 built in 1937. For the movie, Olton Hall was repainted in a unique red livery and renamed Hogwarts Castle, and it pulled a train of British Railways Mark I coaches in matching maroon. Since then, the Hogwarts Express has appeared in all 8 Harry Potter films. Olton Hall is now on display at the Warner Brothers Studio Tour London, and 2 full-size replicas have been built for Universal Studios theme parks. The name Hogwarts Castle has become a bit of a running joke among railway enthusiasts because the Great Western also had a different, much larger class of engines called the Castle class, and judging by its name, Hogwarts Castle should have been one of them. As if that wasn't confusing enough, Hornby's previous model of Hogwarts Castle actually was a Castle class engine. However, despite its name, the screen-accurate version of Hogwarts Castle is in fact a Hall-class engine, and with this train set, Hornby has finally gotten it right and based the locomotive on their existing model of Olton Hall. Before we move on to the review, I'd like to talk a little bit about scale and gauge. This is a British 00 gauge train set, which means that while the track is the same as HO, the trains themselves are a slightly larger scale, at 1:76 instead of 1:87. However, since real British trains are slightly smaller than their North American counterparts, the actual size of the models ends up being about the same as HO. Since these are British models, they come with European-style couplers, which are not compatible with North American HO trains. They are compatible, however, with all other British 00 gauge models, as well as the Bachmann, Thomas & Friends models. This is a complete starter set, so it includes everything you need to start running trains. In the box, you have the locomotive, 2 coaches, enough track to make an oval, a controller, a re-railing ramp, and an instruction manual. Some Hornby train sets include a printed track mat, which this one does not, but you do get a switch and siding, so you have a bit more of an interesting layout than just an oval. The set retails for $370 Canadian. The locomotive is mostly identical to Hornby's other versions of the Hall class, and it's a spectacular model, especially for the price. The detail is excellent, better than any starter set engine I've ever seen, with lots of separately applied parts. Hornby really went above and beyond with this one. The paintwork is very good as well, and all the intricate lining looks excellent, although the shade of red seems a bit lighter than the real engine. I did find 1 or 2 tiny flaws in the paint, but it almost takes a magnifying glass to notice them, and the overall appearance is very impressive indeed. The engine does not have a front coupler out of the box, but they do include one in a little plastic bag, so you can fit it yourself if you want to. The only thing that detracts from the appearance is the headlight, which is just a hole at the bottom of the smokebox door with an LED in it. The engine did have a headlight in the movie, but it wasn't embedded in the smokebox. Still, it's not too noticeable, especially when it's on, and given this is such a high-quality model for the price, I really can't complain. The detail on the coaches is just as good. Like the real thing, they're a slightly darker shade of red than the engine. The roofs are gray, which is a slightly odd choice. The real coaches have black roofs, but they do look a bit faded and gray from some angles. Like the engine, the paintwork and printing on the coaches is very fine and nearly flawless. They also have full interiors, which gives them a very intricate, realistic look. I imagine it wouldn't be too difficult to take them apart and add scale figures to represent the Harry Potter characters, if you're so inclined. Unlike some train set track, the Hornby track does not have plastic roadbed attached. However, the rail joiners, or fish plates to use the UK term, fit extremely tightly, far more so than most HO track. It takes quite a bit of effort to slide the track sections together, but once connected, they stay together surprisingly well, and I didn't have any issues with the track coming apart, even on carpet. The set includes 8 curved sections, which are 45 degrees each, 2 long straights, 2 short straights, a short straight terminal track, and a switch. The curves are what Hornby calls third radius, which measures out to about a 20-inch radius. If you set it up as an oval, the total size is about 3 foot 6 inches by 5 foot 3 inches. The included switch is quite nice as well. It's actually a power routing switch, so if you get a second locomotive, you can park it on the siding and run another train on the main loop. The controller is definitely the Achilles heel of this set. Like many controllers, it uses pulsed power at low speed to help coax the locomotive into motion smoothly, but this one doesn't do it very well. At very low speed, it can make the train creep along very slow, but at anywhere between a crawl and around half throttle, the speed is kind of all over the place. Half throttle looks close to a realistic top speed for a Hall-class engine, and is probably the best speed to run it at most of the time. The set also includes a re-railing ramp, which makes putting trains on the track much easier. Just lay it on top of the rails, roll the train down it, and it lines up all the wheels perfectly every time. Surprisingly few train sets include one of these, but it's a really nice thing to have. Alright, enough waffling, let's skip straight to the part you all want to see and run the train. I also tested the locomotive on my HO layout using an MRC Tech 4 controller. It's still not the best slow-speed runner in the world, but it's very quiet and it is much smoother than it was on the train set controller. The engine handled the 18-inch radius curves on my layout with no major issues. Surprisingly, the long passenger cars also had no problems on my layout, despite the sharp curves. Overall, I'm very impressed with what Hornby has done here. The quality is much better than a typical starter set in this price range, and it's a great complete package for starting your model railway. Double O-gauge modelers this side of the pond usually have to get everything shipped from the UK, so it's really nice to see a good quality British train set available in American and Canadian hobby shops. Whether you're a Harry Potter fan, a British railway enthusiast, or you just want a nice train set for Christmas, it's hard to go wrong with the Hornby Hogwarts Express. To get your Hogwarts Express, visit us at BC Shaver and Hobbies or our brand new online store at bchobbies.com. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Michael, and I will see you next time.